What's up, guys? DK here with Collector's Impact, and today let's bust out this Russian doll because we are going to talk about something that involves many layers, you guys. So let's jump into this. We're going to discuss NFTs because NFTs, that's a topic that has been coming up quite a lot recently, and considering that for whatever reason people are equating it with a collectible as a general rule these days. NFTs are viewed as a form of electronic collectible, and with that in mind, I wanted to go ahead and discuss it here on the Collector's Impact, as we are the collectors. So let's talk about this elephant in the room, you guys. Does this thing open up another layer? Oh my goodness, look at this. It opens another layer, you guys. This is what a fitting little thing here. Oh my god. Okay, I think I'm done with it now. Let's just okay. There, you guys like that? That's a very interesting little toy there. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, which is NFTs. Now, in this video today, we're going to cover 3 key things to consider before diving into the NFT market. Primarily, I'm talking about if you are interested in creating an NFT and putting it on the market for sale. First, a little bit of background on what exactly is an NFT. I will go ahead and give the disclaimer that I am not an expert on blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, or NFTs for that matter. I have been researching it quite a bit, especially with the collectible nature of it and the way that things recently are being marketed as collectibles, things like NBA Top Shot, NFTs, things like that. They're heavily marketed as collectibles. So I've been delving into it quite a lot, and I have been toying with the idea of creating some NFTs, and I wanted to go ahead and share my research on this with you guys and let you know what I have found in case that it may be helpful to you. So again, I'm not an expert on this, and this is not advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only. All right, so first off, what is an NFT? NFT stands for non-fungible token, which in a nutshell, it basically means that it is a unique digital asset with a unique identification number. So therefore, it's not just like a standard JPEG file or something like that. If it's an image file, an NFT goes a bit more in depth than that, and it has the equivalent of a serial number and or, an identification style of code associated with it. You can sell it to someone who is interested in owning that as a type of asset or collectible, where they know that that particular digital asset that they have is unique in some way, shape, or form. Now, at the end, I'll go ahead and discuss my general opinion on this kind of stuff, but for now, I'm keeping this high level and discussion based in regards to the technology and these 3 things to consider before diving into it. So let's just jump into that. Number 1 is demand for NFT collectibles. That's something to consider pretty heavily when you're deciding if you want to invest time and money into creating an NFT of your own and putting it on the market. So what you've really got to assess for yourself is the reason why NFTs are so popular right now, and really just do a little bit of soul searching and ask yourself pertinent questions regarding that. If you truly believe, at the end of the day, this comes down to your personal belief, actually. There's not a lot of data out there. It's such a new thing. It's kind of like a Wild West market, really. There's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot of potential pitfalls. So this is very much a personal choice kind of a thing in terms of if you want to pursue this or not. But the thing to consider, the demand for the market. Do you actually believe that there's a demand for NFT collectibles? Say that you're a photographer, you take really nice photos, and you want to turn one into an NFT and sell it on the open market as a collectible art piece. That's essentially what you're trying to do here with an NFT. So and command a high premium price for that because it's a unique asset. Do you think, based on the current market, that you can actually get a higher price for that would make it worth your effort? And we'll get into that as we go on. But yeah, just at a very high level, like the actual demand for NFTs. When something is physical, it's easy to hold it, store it, and all of that. Just so having it be a digital asset is kind of a new thing. It's crossing into a new frontier. And maybe younger people who are, very comfortable with that level of technology and paying a lot of money for a digital asset, maybe that will be a new thing, and there's a lot of opportunity on that. So just assessing it for yourself and really honestly asking, how the demand is for that item or for an item like that. The second thing to consider before jumping into the NFT market is in relation to your actual brand, to your brand footprint, to your popularity, to your artwork. Primarily right now, individuals that are creating NFTs are considered artists. There aren't very many other types of NFTs. I'm sure that more will come out, more unique things. But right now, it's primarily around art, specifically JPEGs, or, well, I guess they're not JPEGs, but images, image-based NFTs, and GIFs, little moving images and things that last like 10 seconds. So they're not crazy long movies or anything. It's just those types of things are the most common. There are several third-party websites out there. The one that I'm most familiar with is Rarible, but there are some other ones as well where you can create and post and sell into an online marketplace your NFT. But it's very important to assess because there's an absolute ton of NFTs on the market. So you hear this you hear these news stories about how certain NFTs have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars in some cases. Just, use use caution and know that those are very rare instances, and it usually comes from a formerly reputable type of artist or person who's been in the space and getting money from high-end art collectors now for a while. It's not just somebody in their garage that took a picture of their sandal and put it on, Rarible for $1 million and somebody bought it. It doesn't work like that, at least not from what I've seen. If it has, definitely leave that in the comment section. Show me a story where somebody sold their flip-flop or whatever, a picture of it, and they got $1 million, because that would be really fascinating. But as far as I can tell, it's usually from someone who's more reputable in the art community already. So the main point being, if you're not a super reputable artist with a strong following, NFTs are going to be a challenge. It's not impossible or anything. I'm not trying to completely poo-poo on the idea, as it is new, it is fresh, it is something that is potentially worth pursuing, depending on your position and all of that kind of stuff, and how you feel about it, and the knowledge that you have on it, and the market, trying to get in there as an early adopter. It is possible, but that is a strong thing to consider, is the brand footprint that you as an artist have, and what kind of exposure your artwork is going to have in a sea of literally millions of NFTs that are for sale. Now, those two are actually the smaller points in comparison to the third and final point, and that is fees. So one thing that really has caught my attention when I was researching this, and I spent quite a bit of time researching this topic for myself because I was considering it, because it interested me and I wanted to learn more about it and potentially jump in. So this is the third point here, is the most juicy, and hopefully I get everything right here. And if I don't, feel free to leave some corrections in the comments. But this is based on a lot of research that I've been doing into this. So here goes. And this is as of May 2021. So things are absolutely subject to change, especially in relation to, quote, gas prices and things of that nature. So let's jump into this. On a lot of sites, third-party sites where you can mint and list things, there are a ton of fees associated with this process. And by a ton, I mean roughly four or five primary fees that the majority of these third-party vendors have. First things first, it's important to note that a lot of them deal with Ethereum. They use the Ethereum blockchain to host and mint the NFTs and then deal with all the transactions therein of the NFTs using the Ethereum blockchain technology. So with that, you have to purchase Ethereum cryptocurrency in order to participate in the market. So you need a crypto wallet, and you have to go through the procedure of converting US dollars or whatever other currency, if you're somewhere else in the world. And in order to do that, you have to pay fees associated with getting Ethereum, both getting and withdrawing it. There are fees associated with that. So that's an upfront kind of thing right there. And as of right now in May, Ethereum is roughly $4,000 per Ethereum. It's gone up quite a bit in the past few months, and it may go up further or it may come back down. I don't know. But the figures that I'm working with are roughly with $4,000 for an Ethereum coin, which isn't necessarily relevant when it comes to the overall fees, and I'll explain that. But it's just important to note since, that's the currency that you'll be dealing with. So those are the first ones, just the fees associated with dealing with crypto. So then the main fees from the actual third-party sellers start with a minting fee. So most of these companies will charge a minting fee, which is a fee to create and attribute the tokenization to the digital asset. So let's say that you take a picture of this doll and you want to make a nice little NFT of this little Russian nesting doll. So that's your thing. That's what you do. So you take the picture. That obviously is free for you if you already own the camera and everything. You take your JPEG to the third-party person, you upload it, and then you pay a minting fee of anywhere between $40 to $80 seems to be the average going fee. And this is dependent upon the usage of the networks that are, this is kind of the complicated part that I'm still having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around. There's these things called gas fees. And what that basically is that depending on the popularity of the usage of the networks at the time that you're doing this, so like if it's a busy time of day on the cyber highway, on the internet highway or whatever, and there is a lot of things being processed through the Ethereum blockchain, and that includes the currency and NFTs, anything that's being processed through the blockchain, it uses more computer power. And as more computers are being utilized and the power is scarcer to come across for your processing needs, the fees go up. And that's called a gas fee. And I hear that there is going to be a lot of work done to this. There's going to be some infrastructure changes and that are going to take place. Don't quote me on it. This is just what I've been researching. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only, in the aim to bring down those gas fees and make it more of a reasonable fee in terms of not being surprised where one day it's $40, the next day it's $80, the next day it's $120, then the next day it's back to $40. Like, these fees fluctuate. Unlike eBay and services like that have a set percentage cost fee, each one of these fees fluctuates. And then the next fee is your listing fee in order to get the item up for sale in the marketplace. That can cost anywhere from $40 to $70. Some cases it can be higher. These all have the caveat of some cases these can be higher from what I've seen and been reading. It's really interesting. But $40 to $70 seems about the average rate to get your item listed. And then for your commission fee, you're looking at roughly 15% of the sale will go to whatever platform it sells through. They get their cut from the actual final sale. Think of it like a final value fee. So those are your primary fees: the minting fee, listing fee, commission fee for the sale, and the crypto fees for the buying and transferring of the currency. So I've put together a very small example here using around the mid-range of those fees, and it would equate to roughly $180 in fees to create, to mint and list and sell an item. To mint and list. Then when you sell it, you got to pay the 15% as well. So in my example here, we'll say that my NFT of this Russian doll sells for $300 worth of Ethereum. And that's just hypothetical. That's if someone out there, this goes back to number one, about the demand for these things. If someone out there is willing to pay $300 for an NFT of this Russian doll that I post up, of that, I would need to pay roughly $225 in fees or more in order to make that sale and to get money in the end, which would leave you with roughly $75 or less in your pocket if you sold it for $300. Now, if you can't sell it for $300, if somebody only offers you $10 or $20 or whatever it is, then you're way in the hole. So yeah, that's why the other 2 points come first as well, because the demand for the item is very important, and your brand footprint and notability as an artist, and your established nature in the market. Just personal thoughts on this now that we're at the end here. If you guys are still around, thank you, number one. And number two, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe to the channel. There you go. I don't normally cover NFTs, but I figured I'd do a shameless plug there. So anyway, personal thoughts on this is that, I'm not like super old, okay, guys, but I'm not super young either. I'm middle-aged for all intents and purposes. And with that, I've seen a thing or two. I've been to various like pyramid scheme recruitments that got me in college, where they're like, hey, you need a job? Come to this building at 5:00 in the evening, and there's going to be job interviews. And you get there, and there's like a pyramid scheme pitch, and you're like, okay. That's what this reminds me of. Not to say that the NFTs specifically are a pyramid scheme or something like that, but what it seems to be is it's extremely hype driven, and these companies, the third-party companies that are dealing with the minting and selling of NFTs, are essentially relying on, this is my opinion, again, I could be entirely wrong, and I don't mean to offend anybody, so if you have a different take on this, feel free to leave it in the comments. I in no way am judging people who are into NFTs. This is just, again, my personal opinion, and I'm very willing to learn more and look deeper into this. But the way that I see it is these companies are kind of reliant on a bunch of people who are interested in doing the NFT thing, because they hear all the news stories about how expensive they are, how rich people will pay a lot of money for these NFTs, and they want a piece of that action, kind of like cryptocurrency, took off and is still taking off with those kind of the same kind of thing in mind, though that's a very different thing. I can't even compare them. It's very, very different. The NFT thing is kind of marketed as a collectible, hence collector's impact is over here. We're over here talking about it. So I definitely think that there's a bit of deception in the air when it comes to the third parties, because if you go on their websites and you look in the FAQs, there's no search features, there's no useful forms or anything where you can find the fee structure. The fees are very, very much hidden and not talked about. I mean, you can go on other forums on Reddit and YouTube and things and learn about these fees. But it's not easy to find the information on it. It's really not. And that the lack of transparency is kind of a red flag to me in terms of the overall business model and the overall approach to this particular type of thing. It seems very much like a get-rich-quick thing, but not in the favor of the individual. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on it at this moment. That is subject to change. If the marketplace evolves, the fees go down, and the demand increases. Those things all need to happen before I personally will feel comfortable getting involved in the NFT market myself. I had a picture that I took, a photograph that I took a few years ago, and I was going to turn it into an NFT and put it on the market. But then when I found out how expensive the fees were, I decided not to at the moment. I'm a nobody in the art community. I have no no followings in that, so I'm going to pass it up. But definitely, if you feel differently, then go with your gut. That's what I always say when it comes to collectibles and markets and stuff. Go with your gut. You do you, and don't listen to anybody else if that's what you really want to do. You know what I mean? But I figured that I would just put this out here just as a discussion and for you guys' entertainment. So I hope that you guys liked that video. Sorry if it was a little long-winded. That's how I usually roll with certain discussions. I'm kind of off the cuff, but also with the ether. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking around and for hearing me out. And I hope to see you again next time, where we will discuss more traditional collectibles. Take care.